All right, friends, it's Team On. We're back with another Jason Blaha's beautiful videos, exercise fitness videos. So we're going to react to the gym lifting, recruiting fitness gear slaves new video he just posted a few minutes ago. So in this video, Blaha says vegan and carnivore diets are the two sides of the same crazy coin. That's why he's chasing his tail.
Hey everybody, it's Jason Blaha here with Jason Blaha Strength and Fitness, and today I'm going to chat with you guys and gals briefly about the two most crazy fad diet cults, and that's going to be vegan and carnivore. And
all right, let me ask you this question, you people out there. If you've never experienced being a vegan, eating these plants and fruits and shit, or let's say this so-called carnivore diet that these people keep talking about. So if you didn't experience being this, a fake carnivore cooking your meat, or being a real carnivore actually like eating it raw, if you haven't really experienced these things, do you think you're an authority to talk on the subject? Like, could you share your knowledge on the subject if you didn't experience it yourself, and then apply some science to prove what you're saying and your experience on top of it, because you kind of have an understanding of it, because that's the only way humans learn is through experiences? Or should people like Blaha just come online and just give their opinions, because that's all it fucking is. Everything Blaha talks about in his channel are based on nothing but opinion.
in my opinion, these two
See right there, based on his opinion. What did he say? What did he just say? Based on his opinion. Let's play that one. Let's play that one more time.
Crazy fad diet cults, and that's going to be vegan and carnivore. And in my opinion, these two,
again, in his opinion, right? It's not based on his experience.
two ideologies are pretty much the same thing. There's a slight difference, though, between them.
Again, he calls them ideologies. What are the slight differences based on your opinion, Blaha?
In the sense of the mindset they're coming from, in that vegans try to pretend that they have a moral framework to work from, but in reality, I've noticed a lot of them, they pretend.
I don't know that for sure. How do you know that exactly?
And it's all about animals, but ultimately it's not. It's about them projecting their moral superiority. It's about a certain type of narcissism.
Is it? Is it really? I don't know what it is. Maybe they have an agenda to destroy man. How about that? See what I mean? Now, that's based on my opinion. Get it? That isn't based on my experience. That I believe that the vegan community has an agenda to destroy man. Or is it to save the animals? The question is this: can you save the animals? No. So what is their agenda really based on? They say, look, one vegan lady says, oh, the animals, they don't die. Yes, they do. All animals die. They're crazy. Look, all animals will die. Can you save the animals? Can you save them? No, absolutely not. Can you save yourself? No, because if you can't save yourself, what makes you think you can save the animals? You understand me? Now, that's based on fact. That isn't based on my opinion. You see the difference? Now, my opinion would be what? Oh, well, I have this opinion that they have this, it's propaganda, like it's this thing they want to destroy man and all of that, or some bullshit. See? But in my opinion, based on fact, they base it on what? They say I think it's the vegan community, they say that they're trying to save animals from being abused and tortured and abused. Okay, I do not condone animals being tortured and abused before they're being killed, but they cannot be abused and killed once they're dead. An animal that's dead cannot be abused or killed. Well, maybe the body itself could be abused, that they abuse it. I don't know. You know what I mean? I've heard crazy people sexually abusing dead bodies, sexually. I don't know what that is. That's kind of immoral, but that's kind of weird. But the animal itself is dead, so it can't feel anything. But whatever, you get the idea. Like Blaha, he's an unnatural animal. Look at him. This, you know what? He looks funny here, man. I don't know. He just looks really weird.
And most of them really and truly, again, it's about showcasing that, and it's again a distortion of reality because they really know when you show them the math, they're not really helping
What is reality exactly?
animals. It really is about putting on a show for them.
Okay.
Whereas in carnivores are coming from a mindset of conspiracy theory and questioning authority and questioning.
No, they're not. The carnivore community, based on my experience, is based on elimination. They're coming from a healing perspective. Well, you see how Blaha has it so misconstrued? If you go to watch, if you base your look, if you go to these carnivore channels and listen to these carnivore people, what are they talking about? Where are they coming from? That they're just eating meat products now. Well, it's based on elimination. They've eliminated what? They've eliminated these plants because the plants were causing the toxicity in the plants were causing them health problems. So what did they do? They eliminated. So they really should just call it an elimination diet from their natural diet, which is carnivore diet. Your natural diet is carnivore diet, but it's an elimination diet. So they've eliminated it. And what was the basis of the elimination? For health purposes. They all got their lives back. If you go to No Carb Life, that's all he does is interview people. How did you find carnivore? Well, they tell you they had health issues, all of them. So when Blaha says conspiracy issues and all this, he's fabricating that. You understand me? Now he's fabricating stuff, which is the opposite.
Any sort of
Welcome to Great.
questioning authority and questioning any sort of science, right? That everything is government bad, anything organized bad. So it comes from a place.
They're not questioning. They're not questioning science. There is no science on meat. There's only epidemiology studies. There's no science. What do you mean questioning science? What do you mean questioning government? You should question government why there isn't any science on it. You understand me? But they give you all this phony science on plants being healthy for you.
Of extreme skepticism to the point of conspiracy theory. So these are kind of the
There's no conspiracy theory. Man, if you go PubMed, NCBI, there's plenty of science, real science based on plants telling you that they're toxic. There's toxicity, there's oxalates, there's all these toxins and poisons in there. They don't deny it because they've done studies on it. But how it affects you, they tell you, well, eating plants are healthy for you. But who are you listening to? Are you listening to the scientists of NCBI, PubMed? Or are you listening to your government telling you should eat these foods because they're healthy for you? Who are they? What are they basing it on? What are they basing it on? Eating carbohydrates, artificial foods like carbs, and these plants and fruits are healthy for you. What are they basing it on? Why is it healthy? Because it's healthy, because it increases the income in the country, making it financially healthy instead of your physical health. Is that it?
mindsets used to drive them. But the truth is, when you set that aside,
It also makes your dentist financially healthy because he's got to drill your teeth now. How about your doctor and the medical industry? Medicine, I don't know, the food industry. What else is there? The chemical industry. I mean, the refinery industry. All these industries that are funded and run by this one thing. It keeps it healthy, sure.
they're pretty much the same thing. And what you actually find, and I've seen more and
They are
more.
not the same thing. Vegans, as far as I know, when I go to their channels, they base it on animal abuse. That's why you shouldn't eat these animals. Don't eat animals because the animals are suffering, they're being tortured, suffered, and you're eating their flesh, and they should not be eaten by humans. So what's the alternative to eat? If you can't eat meat as a carnivore animal, what's the alternative? Well, they want you to eat plants. Well, we know that plants are not our diet and will cause us health problems, right? They obviously know that. They're not that stupid. They can't be that retarded, these vegan assholes, not to know that plants are fucking toxic, because science has already exposed that. So they already know it causes fucking problems. Because look at the vegan compilation. Hello? So what is Blaha talking about exactly? What is he trying to convince you here on?
Cases of early on, when the carnivore diet was fairly new, and it is new, we need to keep in
It's
mind.
not new. It's not new. You as a carnivore eating meat is not new. We've been eating meat forever. People eat meat all over the world. America consumes the most meat on this fucking planet, you asshole.
It's not something that existed a long time ago. People pretend, oh, we've been doing it for thousands of years. No, we haven't.
Yes, we have. We've been doing it for thousands of years. We didn't just eat plants our entire life, and then all of a sudden, hey, we decided to make Texan barbecue in Texas. You asshole.
We actually haven't. Humans have never been true carnivores. Like our species.
We are true carnivores. That's why we eat meat. We crave meat, because if we don't get it, we'll die without it. We'll get scurvy and we'll die from an amino acid deficiency.
There's no reason to believe we were ever true carnivores in the sense of what they do.
Yes, we are true carnivores. If there's any deficiency in amino acids in our diet, we will get scurvy. We will die a very agonizing death.
Primarily meat calories, and particularly pasture-raised meat and dairy and stuff. And no,
What about pasture raised? Natural? You mean naturally? They natural raised? Yeah, we're farming now, which is unnatural. Look at him. Look how unnatural he looks. He looks so domesticated. Blaha is such a domesticated animal, people. Can you not see him? Look at his physicality. Look at him.
plants are fiber. Like this, that's never been humans. But also,
Plants are fiber. You can't digest fiber. It's not protein.
we set that aside. It's a fairly new diet, right? It's really
It's not a new diet.
only been kind of pushed by a couple pseudo experts and quacks online, but many of which have dropped the diet. They can't even do it anymore.
That's a lie. Everybody eats meat, or you'll die if you don't eat meat from an amino acid deficiency. You'll get scurvy.
They've been pushed online. And so when it was fairly new, what we saw were a lot of vegans who got health problems from veganism. Well, obviously, anytime you're restricting huge amounts of things in your food, you're going to have health issues eventually. You're running the risk of malnutrition, different imbalance, different problems. There are vegans who had health problems who were going over to carnivore in droves. Okay? Now we're finally reaching a point, and I've seen it in my own comments. Someone chimed in my comments the other day saying, yeah, they got really hurt with gut biome issues doing carnivore, and they kept it up longer. They realized they were having problems, they kept doing it too long now. They're really struggling to readapt because of the gut health issues it created, and it will create gut health issues. So that's setting aside the long-term atherosclerosis. The gut biome.
Blaha is making this stuff up. There's no such thing. There's no such thing, man. It's incredible. Whatever.
Problems are very real from the lack of fiber. So what we're finding
From the lack of fiber, you'll have all these problems. Yeah, right. Okay.
more of now, and I'm seeing it on my own social media. I've had some people have seen it in some of the groups. At least one of them came over, followed my Facebook.
And why do people get better the moment they start eating meat? They start looking better, they get better, their skin clears up, they get stronger, looks maxing, this, that. Why do people do like 60? I did 6 months of raw milk diet. Look at the change in my face, in my body. I drank raw milk for 6 months, or they did this or they did that. There's automatic changes the moment they eliminate these toxic plants from their diet. Why? Because you're taking on more DNA damage than your body can fight off. You understand me, man? That's why. So why do they equate that people that drink raw milk, they never get sick? It's associated with health markers, and you never get ill or sick when you drink raw milk. Why is that? because there's nothing there to interfere with you being healthy from the healthy milk that you're drinking and eating these unhealthy plants.
Is a vegan who is a former carnivore. Why? Because people are
Again, vegan is not based on health. It's not based on, it's only based on saving the animals. It has nothing to do with you eating plants or eating meat. It has nothing to do with you surviving. It just has everything to do with this animal cannot be tortured and killed for your pleasure to be eating, for your pleasure, because they think it's based on pleasure. See what I mean? So it is not based on health. Carnivore community is based on health, eating the proper diet and based on health. See how dumb Blaha is?
getting health problems now from following the extreme carnivore. So what do a lot of them do?
Getting health problems from following extreme carnivore? What do you mean by extreme?
They go over to vegan. And why?
They don't go over to vegan. Why would they go over to vegan? There's no health problems eating meat. Why would they go over to vegan? Let me get this straight. A carnivore animal, a human, which is a carnivore animal, got health problems eating meat? What? And so they got health problems, so they decided to go over to vegan. So they went over to get poisoned by plants, but not go over to vegan to save the animals from being what? From being tortured and killed and eaten for pleasure. What? This made absolutely zero sense.
Because it's the same sort of people. It's in a very extremist mindset in people that says, I have to have a special exclusionary, I have to be part of a special group or a special extreme diet. I can't just be a healthy, fit person. I have to be part of a very small select group.
Yeah, that's why they went carnivore. They went for health purposes. They eliminated these foods for the health purposes. They've eliminated them out of their diet because farming is artificial. It's fake. It doesn't exist. Humans have been eating meat forever. Now, they've introduced these new foods that they keep making now out of these plants. They keep introducing more foods, more foods. They engineer more vegetables, newer fruits, more engineered. Yeah. Okay. And they keep introducing them. And what do the people do? They consume them. And then what happens? Eventually it catches up with them with the time. See what I mean?
It's something that they need for their ego, for their mindset. The people do this because they need to feel special, and then they need to be extreme in what they're doing.
No. They didn't need to feel special or anything like that. Sally Norton didn't write those books and started eating meat instead of plants because she felt special. She felt sick. Now, a good majority, they get cancer, they get metabolic diseases, they feel sick eating these toxic plants, getting mitochondrial dysfunction, probably brain damage, and a bunch of stuff, whatever else, who knows. Skin problems, pimples, this, that, psoriasis, like Blaha psoriasis, eczema, weird things, and they all go away. How about your teeth? Your teeth are what? They're rotting. You're rotting your teeth eating plants, but they don't rot on... It's funny. How come they don't rot when you eat meat? You see, these countries that eat meat and drink raw milk and eat raw animal products, their teeth aren't rotting. They die with a full set of teeth. But the people in North America eating plants, they die with no teeth. Why is that? I wonder why.
And they don't, I think most of them deep down truly don't believe that it's actually going to get them in the best shape, because we don't see that.
You want to know why the slave masters used to check the slaves? The first thing they checked their teeth. You want to know why they checked their teeth? Because that was an indicator of health. How would you know that they were healthy if they had all their teeth? Because they're able to eat, right? If you don't have teeth, you're not able to eat. That's one problem. And another problem is they know that if they had unhealthy teeth, it was because they were eating survival food. They weren't that stupid. Even the slave masters knew that. Meat is what kept you healthy. You wouldn't lose your teeth if you ate meat. But if you were a person that was surviving, well then you're a weak slave, because if you're missing teeth and you have bad teeth, you're living off of survival food. And so you're not any good to them. What good are you? See what I mean? Now, I don't know, back then in the past, they most likely had to fed some meat to these slaves. I know people say survival food and all that. They at some point people got used to survival food. The farming industry, the survival food thing, whatever, bullshit, whatever. But they definitely could raise their own chickens, these slaves. These farmers and people, they would raise chickens and easy animals, access like pork, boars. There's a lot of boars out there running around, man. There's boars all over the place. There's meat everywhere if you really look around. There's animals everywhere roaming around to keep you healthy. So it's not like they didn't absolutely have nothing to eat when it came to meat. But what caused most of their problems and the weaknesses in the structural damages in their teeth is because of the slave food diet. If the consumption of it was higher than the meat, then you definitely have problems. And that's why people today have so many problems, because the consumption of meat has gone down and the consumption of all these fake foods and things have gone up, because it's all based on addiction. And that's what happens. There's an imbalance now. So it becomes even worse.
Know what gets people the most jacked and lean and strong, and that's again bro types diets, heavy on carbohydrate, plenty of fruits and vegetables, then animal source protein, right?
Animal source protein is what gets you jacked, not plants. Plants do not build muscles.
This is time proven over and 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 over. The overwhelming majority of people with phenomenal physiques, phenomenal athletic performance, this is how they eat.
It's because they eat protein, animal protein. That's why they have performance and yada yada.
It is the most successful. Everyone knows, and everybody knows this, right? Everybody knows this. This is not even debated. That's why it's rather funny that these groups even exist. So they really are fringe groups that grow and grow through their own movements on the internet. But again,
one movement is based on health. The other one is not based on any of that. It's based on what? Protecting animal rights and all this kind of stuff, and being tortured and killed and eaten for pleasure.
the reality is anyone who's looked at anything knows how people eat who are in truly good shape, right? And it's generally the way I described.
Yeah, they're in good shape the way Blaha describes. Well, Blaha eats tofu, rice, and garbage food. Does he look like he's in good shape? Look at the way he looks, his body. The only reason what's making him move around is because he has to. Here's the thing. Because he eats the slave food diet, that would make him what? Dysfunctional. But what is making him functional? Fighting against the dysfunction. He lifts because he's fighting against dysfunction, because he wants to be able to eat his peasant slave food diet, which causes him to be dysfunctional, right? Look, one food makes you functional all the time. You don't have to do exercise. That's why when people discover eating raw animal products, the first thing they say is, I don't want to exercise anymore. I don't want to do anything, those things. Why? Because they're functional now. They're normal. Now, people that eat artificial diets are always abnormal. They eat the slave food peasant diet. So what do they do to stay functional? They gotta go to the gym, get it? Like Blaha, pushing sled in street, throwing ball overhead, and lifting weights all the time in the garage. Because they're dysfunctional, because they wanna eat their diet based on addiction. Get it?
The way I described. And again, we all know this. In fact,
we all know this.
So people struggle to get jacked, vegans struggle to get jacked. All these people historically struggle to get jacked.
People struggle to get jacked because they don't understand bodybuilding. They don't understand the fundamentals of what bodybuilding is, how muscles are built. They think muscles are built I got to just exercise and then I just eat the same diet or eat the same food. No, it doesn't work like that. It doesn't work the way they think it does.
They're sometimes successful.
And as far as vegan diets, plants do not build muscle. Protein does.
Weight loss methods. Ironically, though, a lot of the people with the keto end don't even ever get remotely lean. And I don't even mean people say, well, you're not super lean. No, I didn't say super lean. I've seen plenty of keto people.
Man, again, people do keto diets based for health purposes because they have some kind of issue because of the slave food peasant diet.
For decades, who struggle to get under 20% body fat. Okay, which makes sense. They're pouring down massive amounts.
Why would your body want you to get under 20% body fat? It needs to keep you alive through a famine or something. So it doesn't want to lose that body fat. You are doing it for cosmetic purposes. Your body's doing it for survival purposes. There's a difference, dude.
Saturated fat. Okay, they're pouring it down. So the problems that we run into is that ultimately neither diet is going to be successful for people in the pursuit of body composition. Let's set aside the very.
Yes, meat diet is good for body composition, is the best for body composition. That's the best diet for body composition. Yeah, it's kind of obvious.
Various health claims, but what I will say is, no, it's going to be difficult to have ideal health if you have deficiencies as a vegan. We all know this, common sense. You're not getting
Think about it. Why did these vegans go raw? There's vegans that cook their food, and then there's vegans that do raw. The carnivore community, what do? They cook as well. They're used to cooking as well. And then there's the raw community. There's people that eat raw, carnivore, and then there's people that cook. See the difference? But here's the difference. What's the difference between cooking and eating something raw? Well, in the vegan community, when they're eating these foods, which are not based on health, it's based on I'm saving the animal. They say, well, I'm going to eat raw vegan. But when they discover they get really, really, really sick, then they start cooking because then it reduces the toxicity, right? There's a reduction, but it doesn't all go away. You're eating something that's poisonous. Think about it. You're eating something that is poisonous to you. And you expect to live long on that diet? You expect to be healthy and live long and be vibrant on something that is toxic? That's crazy. That's insane. That's why Blaha is mentally sick.
Of animal protein, you have to supplement tons of things, and if you don't, you will have health problems. And the problem with a lot of the vegans is
if you don't supplement, you'll have health problems. Man, you'll have health problems regardless whether you supplement or not on an unhealthy diet, on an unnatural diet.
I've met vegans and there's stuff like, well, I don't really need that. If you really go look, we got our B12 here or there, so I don't need to supplement it. Like they really and truly buy into the fact that it's healthy, not just the ethical side, which again, this is a problem. You have to take great care to not have deficiencies on that type of diet.
Yeah. That's why people they eliminate that because it causes the deficiencies in your diet. Plants are anti-nutrient, like Blaha has admitted in all his videos. So they cause a deficiency in these nutrients when you eat meat, because meat is not deficient in any nutrient. Get it, dude? Yeah.
You get potentially omega-3 deficiencies, definitely B12, definitely iron, things like that.
You don't have, well, I don't know, vegan diet, whatever, vegan people, whatever they're trying to do, they have deficiency in these things. You definitely, because that's what it's based on, deficiency. Now, the food that you're eating too, animal products, depending on what they're eating, domesticated animals, the omega-3 can be very low in the cow meat that you're eating, because if they were grain-fed, it's usually very low, and we know now that humans need high omega-3. So we need high fatty acids and amino acids. We need fatty acids, omega fatty acids, and amino acids. Listen to the word: fatty acids, amino acids. We need a lot of those.
That requires supplementation, right? So if supplementation didn't exist, vegans could never be healthy, okay? It would be impossible without the existence of supplements, and at least supplements added to foods, to be healthy on a vegan diet. Like, this is understood. Hopefully it's understood. It's problematic. Same thing with the
People constantly think that they're bleeding from their gums, they're brushing their teeth, where they get bleeding gums, they get receding gums, this and that. Yet they're eating meat, but they're eating a lot of plants, but they're eating more plants than they're eating meat. What their problem is, they're having a deficiency in amino acids. But to them, they think, I have a deficiency in vitamin C. So then they start supplementing with vitamin C. And supplementing with vitamin C can be very toxic, extremely toxic to your body. That's why your body doesn't produce vitamin C, because it's toxic. Get it? So you're trying to up the dose exponentially high because your body doesn't produce it for a reason. Get it? But you're increasing it. Yeah. But whatever, man. You get the idea. It's a bad thing doing that. And then they find it's not working. They can't figure out why their gums and their problem is still persisting, even though they're eating vitamin C. Think about it. You get a flu and they tell you, hey man, take these vitamin C tablets and your flu will go away. No, it doesn't. Did your flu go away because you popped some vitamin C? Fucking no, bro. We want to know why. Because it has nothing to do with that. The reason why you're sick is because you have an amino acid deficiency in your diet. That's why you get sick. So you go to the gym, you open a window for protein breakdown, and then all of a sudden you go home and you say, you know what, I feel kind of sick. Was it the stress, or was it the breakdown of amino acids, and you didn't meet the demand in amino acids? It's because you're not meeting the demand in these micronutrients, which are found in raw milk, which you're not eating, you're not consuming, and in raw meat, get it, which you're not consuming. It's all there. Now, once you start eating that, you're never going to ever get sick again. That's why when the colonists came to the New World, the fucking native people here only ate buffalo meat. They were never sick, get it? But the colonists were sick because they couldn't stop eating the slave food peasant diets that they were used to.
Carnivore, and you're never going to be truly healthy. That elevated LDL is the big one, and they're in denial of it, but we see it even.
What about LDL? The lady that died, 117 years old, she had high LDL. Yeah. You want to know what high LDL is from, really? It's just a breakdown of triglyceride. That's why you have high LDL. Now, let's say somebody is going off the peasant slave food diet, which made them gain a shitload of weight. You got obese eating that. Is that healthy? Is a food that makes you obese, is that considered healthy? Because blah says it's healthy for you. Eating food that makes you obese is healthy. But yet meat is bad for you. It's unhealthy. It's going to give you a heart attack and all that, even though it doesn't make you fucking obese. You know what I mean? Which is stupid. But blah is going to argue that. So when people go on a carnivore diet or the elimination diet and they start losing that weight, they go, oh, the LDL went up. Why did it go up? Because your body is eliminating the triglycerides. So it's circulating in your blood supply to get the fuck out of your body. That's why the LDL goes up. Doesn't mean that you're suffering from something bad because LDL went up. It just means that the LDL is high sometimes in your blood because it's eliminating that shit out of your system. So it's circulating in your blood, so it'll appear as a marker. These doctors don't even understand that. They're so dumb they can't even understand that. Well, it's like you got high LDL to HDL. Yeah, but having high cholesterol is associated with health. One is eliminating, the other one is going up to keep you healthy. Yeah.
Like that recent keto study. The fact that the no fiber, the cancer risks from the low vegetables, low fiber, are going to go through the roof.
The cancer risk? Yeah, you won't have any cancer if you don't eat plants. But if you eat plants, you're more susceptible to cancer, yeah.
Gut biome issues are going to be a problem, but they pull the line of, well, it'll be...
Gut biome issues people have are usually because they're not drinking raw milk. They're drinking pasteurized milk, which causes causes gut issues. There's no such thing as what do they call that when people say they suffer from I don't know. What's that shit when they have problems drinking milk? I forgot. Fuck. Anyways, you don't suffer from that because you're missing enzymes and some stuff that is found in raw milk. So you don't suffer from that shit from the pasteurized milk. You don't get those problems. That's all made up by people. They fabricate it. It's fake. It's fake. It's fake, man. It's made up because you're drinking pasteurized milk, which causes the problem. So there you go. Whatever.
Okay, I only need the healthy gut biome if I want to eat fiber or carbs again, and I'm never going to do that. Delusional mindset. Sure, you're messing up your ability to eat
This guy is delusional. He's delusional.
a lot of it in the future because your gut could have permanent issues. So
Your gut's going to be super healthy if you eat everything raw when it comes to animal products raw. If you can get them as raw as possible, you're not going to suffer from anything.
basically making a lifetime commitment,
This month.
potentially. But that's what they're claiming they're going to do, but they're not. Because once you start having those other problems, you're going to have to quit doing it. But ultimately, yeah, they're both crazy cults, and they're always going to be difficult to build muscle or make gains on. The vegan one, obviously, due to the protein.
Be problems to make gains on and make whatever. What are you talking about? Not on animal products. You don't have problems making gains. What are you talking about? He's crazy, man. Whatever. You can't compare the two.
Your whole life has to revolve around protein to gain muscle as a vegan.
Yeah, as a vegan, it has to revolve around protein because protein builds muscle. But vegans don't get protein.
It has to. The only vegans who successfully do it, they have to obsess over protein intake. It's not, but hey, I can just
No,
eat.
they don't. They take steroids like Blaha. They take steroids like Blaha. Blaha's a steroid user. Look at this sexy beast of a man on plants.
A healthy plant-based diet. No, they have to obsess over protein or muscle. It really is a problem.
Blaha looks feminized. He just lifts to get more feminized. He's a feminine person. He looks feminized. He's feminine. He's feminized.
They're going to have to really focus on getting enough in because the lower bioavailability and the lower protein content. So they're either living on shakes or they're obsessing over.
It's like a guy obsessing over like fighting off this femininity by lifting weights. So he has to lift to increase testosterone and take injections of testosterone because he's fighting being feminized, eating plants all day.
Protein in their food. They're going hard in the soy. They have to. The carnivores, the issue they're going to run into the lack of carbohydrate. It's going to be hard to get optimal training in. You're going to struggle with glycogen stores. You're going to struggle with insulin sensitivity because of the saturated fat. They're always going to struggle to have good and proper insulin responses. They're going to tend to overproduce.
Think about who promoted all this lifting slave genre. Who promoted it? Who started it? People that wanted to market it. It's intelligent people. They marketed it. And then they left a trail of destruction for who? For you. For all the people behind them. They didn't care about exercise. They didn't exercise. These guys that made the Nautilus machines and all that, you think they exercise? Take a close look at them. None of them exercise. They don't give a shit about exercise, bro. You know what they cared about? Money. They don't care about anything. If they truly cared about you, they wouldn't have marketed to you. You understand me? Yeah, if they truly cared about you. Here's the thing. If people truly care about your health and all this, they really care about it, really care about it, well, they can't make money from promoting health. You understand me? Look, I can't make money on my channel. I cannot grow my channel by telling you the truth what builds muscle. It's impossible. I told you that before. It will never work. On my channel, will never grow. I could tell you the formula to really building muscle, but guess what? It won't work because people won't follow that type of training to build real muscle. They want to do what Blah is doing. You understand me? I don't know how to describe this. How to explain this? It's very difficult for people. It's very difficult for people to understand. When I discovered what built muscle, I was lucky. I told you it was an accident, and I had money. I told people, if you don't have money, don't bother trying to build your body. It costs a lot to eat. It costs money to eat. You need money to eat a lot. And at that time, I consumed a lot because I was in a building phase. So I consumed and I consumed, and I could not consume like that at home. I had food at home, and believe me, I ate a lot. I mean, I had packs. I had like, I think, man, I had like 13, 14, 15 packs of eggs at the bottom of my fridge. I had like, some gallons of milk at the top. And I had some other stuff there, meat and a 50-pound bag of potatoes against the wall. Like I just kept consuming. And I would go to the restaurant across the street. I would consume there, go to the buffet, consume. I would constantly, I would be out and about. I would have to buy things and it cost money. And I would constantly consume to build my body because it was in a growth state, because I was doing exercise-induced muscle damage. And I remember the people in the gym when I came in. They recognized, they saw, they could see the changes. And some of them said, "Oh, it's because he does those heavy squats." Then the other guy would be like, "No, it's because he takes all that time off." You know what I mean? And then another guy one day, finally, one guy said, "No, man, I saw him down there eating for like 4 or 5 hours at Abacus, the buffet dude. I saw that guy eating there like crazy, bro. Holy shit. He was there for hours." So there you go. So what was it? Was it the heavy squats? Was it the time off? Or was it the buffet? Which one was it that built my body? Think about that really carefully. It was a combination of everything. It was a combination of me coming in, because one of the guys said he only comes in once a week. Yeah, once a week. I never see him. He only comes in on the weekends, Saturday and Sunday. Yeah, man, get it? He goes, "I never see him the rest of the week here. So it must be all that time off he takes." That's what he said. Must be all that time off. Well, that is one of it. Now he says the heavy squats. Well, it's not necessarily the heavy squat. It's how you utilize the squat to cause the micro tears. Then is the eating, it comes later. Now that I have an open window for protein breakdown, I need to increase protein synthesis. So what I need to do? I need to go somewhere and eat for hours. I need to be in a anabolic growth state. I need to be in positive nitrogen balance. Then I stay in positive nitrogen balance the rest of the week. The excess reserve proteins build the muscle. Get it? So every time I showed up in the gym, every week I came back to the gym, I was slightly bigger all the time because I gained about, I think it was 1.5 pounds every single week. Every single week I gained 1.5 pounds doing that.
Produce insulin, and we see that in the deep keto diets with high saturated fat. They're insulin resistant as a general rule in their blood work. Elevated fasting glucose, elevated fasting insulin. We see this every time. You're seeing the same thing in carnivore. All right, the insulin resistance are developing in their muscle tissue.
There's no insulin resistance in muscle tissue, carnivore, and all that. That's only in a vegan diet. He's stupid. He's making this shit up.
They're going to have larger insulin responses than people on carbs sometimes.
Why would they have insulin increases on an animal-based diet? There's no sugar in there. What the fuck's he talking about? It's bullshit. It's bullshit. It's impossible for it even to turn into sugar. Oh, there's excessive protein in your body. It's going to turn to sugar. That's a lie, because I've been getting skinnier. What the fuck? I've been eating now again for months, and it made me skinnier because I'm not in equilibrium. I'm in positive nitrogen balance. That's totally different than being in equilibrium. And most people are not even in equilibrium. They're below. They're in negative nitrogen balance.
Just from the protein, but they're going to be insulin resistant from the huge amounts of saturated fat. So we tend to see their things like fasting glucose and stuff tends to be high.
No, you're not. He's making that up. That's a lie. Your cells are made up of saturated fat.
All pre-diabetic, very, very quickly.
Impossible to pre-diabetic or any diabetic on your natural animal diet. It's impossible.
Well, that's not an ideal environment to gain muscle. So you're going to find a lot of the carnivores struggle with muscle. They struggle with gaining.
Carnivores struggle with muscle? They struggle with gaining? What are you talking about? No, they don't.
Muscle. They struggle with gaining size unless they're on lots of...
That's a lie. Oh, you mean they struggle with gaining sarcoplasmic size because they're eating meat? Yeah, I would say yes. Phony muscle gains, yes.
Drugs, or they're hammering down pounds and pounds and pounds of meat.
You're just getting fat eating plants and carbohydrates. You're just getting fat like Blaha.
Okay, and that's the
He's a silly animal.
ones we see get away. It's not the ones eating the bacon and the butter who build any real muscle. It's the ones eating.
Let me get this straight. If protein is what builds muscles, why would somebody who eats meat struggle to build muscle? But yet vegans, but if you eat but if you're not eating carbohydrates, you'll struggle to build muscle, to build size. Listen to what Blaha says. If you don't eat carbs, you'll struggle to build size. But yet protein is what builds muscles, right? Because that's what science says, right? That's what everything says. Everybody says. Every science, this, that, everything will corroborate that protein is what builds muscles. So how could you not build size? Why won't you build size? Because muscles are post-mitotic, and you need to activate satellite cells to build what? To build muscle. You're just not activating them to build the fucking muscles. Get it? Because you're an exercise lifting goddamn slave.
4 pounds of meat a day and using steroids.
4 pounds of meat a day and using steroids. But steroids don't damage muscle fibers for you. They're not going to damage it for you. And eating all that protein and taking steroids, it's not going to build muscle because muscle's post-mitotic. Get it?
Okay, they can get away with it. The other guys, not so much. But again, they're both crazy cults. All right, guys, but that's really all I have to say on that today.
I love it. So what makes us not crazy cult? What food should we eat, Blaha, so we're not in a crazy cult? See what I mean? So he says that carnivore is a crazy cult and vegan is a crazy cult. So carnivore is a crazy cult. So then what isn't a crazy cult to Blaha? I know, lifting weights is not a crazy cult. Now, the craziest people on the planet are people that lift weights, believe me. The craziest people, I'm going to tell you right now, man, I know I'm going to get a lot of hate, but the craziest people are the people that push sleds, throw balls over their shoulder in the park, lift weights in their garage 24/7, are the craziest humans on the planet. And want me to prove it to you why? Because it doesn't exist. It's fabricated. It's imaginary. It's fake. Now, I'm not saying that you shouldn't do some exercise, right? Providing it's what? Listen to the word, regenerative. But if you're exercising, that is not regenerative. Get it? That is degenerative. That's why I associate it with mental illness, sickness. Exercise is just something mentally ill people do to exercise themselves so they can further degenerate their body. But in the real world, normal people are just thinking about regenerating their body. What will regenerate your body? Positive nitrogen balance, right? All right, what else will regenerate your body? Periodic exercise will regenerate your body. Now, what will consistent exercise do to you? Degenerate you. Now, what will being in consistent negative nitrogen balance do to you? Degenerate you. So you must be mentally ill if you're doing that.
It's been informative, and I'll talk to you guys and gals next time.
Yeah, it was informative, the video, so I can inform people how wrong you are. See you in the next one. Ciao, friends.